Now, which of these games is the better one? Pokemon Stadium 1? Or is it Pokemon Stadium 2? You know what? Why don't I just put them both as number 5? As I mentioned before, I was a hardcore Pokemon fan when I was a little kid. I used to watch the TV show religiously every single day after school. Now, when I heard that there were video games of this phenomenon, I knew I had to get these games. And to this day, it's still the greatest 3D Pokemon game out there, because Battle Revolution just sucks. Now, while the battles in this game were a fun time to be had, my favorite part about Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2 were the minigames. Yeah, seriously, the minigames. Each minigame is so much fun to play with a friend. Well, most of them anyways. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Clefairy Says, with your weird Catholic school ways. I would usually lose at these minigames because whenever I played it with friends, they just start giggling whenever they start screwing up, and that usually makes me screw up too. Especially when we're playing Sushi Go Round. Watching a Lickitung spaz out always makes me lose my focus no matter how hard I try. But the one minigame that I could never lose at was Rock Harden. Rock. Number 4. Oh yeah, that's right, Donkey Kong 64 is number 4. I am a huge Donkey Kong fan, and it's such a fun game, DK64, despite what some people think. I've heard a lot of people say that this doesn't really feel like a Donkey Kong game. It just feels like Banjo-Kazooie with Donkey Kong's grill slapped on it. But aside from the similar music, the worlds, Fungus Forest, and the connection to Stop and Swap, I don't see anything too similar. But seriously, Donkey Kong 64 is the most unique Donkey Kong game there is. I don't recall any video game ever opening with one of the greatest yet most cheesiest rap numbers ever composed. Why, even today, it's still the only rap number that I actually enjoy. Aside from being unique, this is also the biggest Donkey Kong game I've ever come across. 5 different characters to play as, each with their own special instruments and abilities. So many huge and diverse worlds, each with their own fun and tedious tasks. The game's music is catchy, the graphics are nice and colorful, the bosses are challenging, and the bonus games drove me bananas. I really don't mind if Nintendo doesn't make another 3D Donkey Kong game, although it would be nice. The fact that Donkey Kong 64 is the only game of its kind in the Donkey Kong series, I think it makes it stand out more as a game, don't you? It's like one of those once-in-a-lifetime moments, and no way am I ever giving this moment up. Number 3. Okay, again, I am going to be 100% honest with you guys out there, because that's the kind of guy I am. I had absolutely no clue who Banjo and Kazooie were up until 2008, when I saw the commercial for Nuts and Bolts, and I thought to myself, what the heck is this? Then I bought Banjo-Tooie from a friend of mine, and long story short, I know everything there is to this series now. Now, I'm not gonna say much about Banjo-Tooie, I'm saving that for the next entry on the list. But what I will say, it's a great game. And this game would have been number 2 if it weren't for just one big drawback. The frame rate. Holy crap. Number 2. Ah yes, the original beats the sequel by just one place. Even though Banjo and Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie are pretty much the same game, with Banjo-Tooie, while it was fun, there were some tedious parts, whereas with the first game, Banjo-Kazooie, as well as a much better frame rate, I always had a smile on my face when I played it. This game just brings out the child in me. I always seem to hum along to the soundtrack, and I can't help but laugh at just how ridiculous some of the characters in this game sound. There's so much happiness and charm in this game, along with those little adult innuendos. I really like those too. And I get a nostalgic feel from this game, even though I've only played it recently. That's weird, isn't it? Now I know some of you out there are kinda anxious to see what number 1 is, so I'm gonna wrap this part up. Banjo-Kazooie. What a game indeed. And my number 1 favorite Nintendo 64 game is... Conker's Bad Fur Day. The last great game Rareware made before they fell off the map. Conker's Bad Fur Day is not only my favorite N64 game, but one of my favorite games of all time. Originally planned to be a cutesy little platformer game, but somewhere in development Rare said, you know what, screw that, and then we got this game, and I have to say, that was a great decision. You know, I think the irony is that I think one of the reasons this game is so great is because it has the soul of a children's game, but the humor is like freaking South Park. That's hilarious. Just everything about this game is just so memorable. The music, Conker himself, the movie spoofs, the multiplayer, the scatological humor, the part where you knock the guy's balls clean off. Oh boy. I'm sorry, it's just, I love Conker's Bad Fur Day. It's just so great because there's no other game like this. There's never been a game like Conker's Bad Fur Day before or since, and that's what makes it so great. Like, remember how I said Donkey Kong 64 was one of those once-in-a-lifetime moments? Yeah, Conker's Bad Fur Day is one of those once-in-a-millennia moments. No other game will be like Conker's Bad Fur Day, not even the remake, which tried so desperately, and I can respect that. And yeah, I know a lot of people really wish that Conker's Bad Fur Day sequel got finished, but you know what I say to that? I say, be happy with what you do have instead of what you don't. That pretty much goes for every game on this list. Be happy with what you do have. So you might not be happy with some of the direct sequels they made or some of the crappy spiritual sequels they made to some of these games on the list, but be happy with what you do have. Like, the N64, the N64. Alright, so I've calmed down and I'm gonna convey my message a little better. What I want to say is just be happy with what you do have. If you have any of the games on this list in your possession, be thankful for them. And thank the N64 for bringing us such joy throughout the years. Thanks, N64. Here's to another 15 years. See you guys next time. This is the Cartoon Gamer 8000 saying, have a good day, and keep on gaming.